Power is an intoxicating force. The moment one tastes victory, it often creates an insatiable hunger for more. Whether in warfare, business, or personal ambition, success can blur the lines between wisdom and overreach. Law 47 states, "Do not go beyond the goal you set for yourself. Understanding when to stop after winning is a crucial lesson." Many of the greatest downfalls in history were not due to incompetence or lack of skill, but because of an inability to recognize the right moment to pause. The desire to push beyond reasonable limits leads individuals and empires alike into ruin. Understanding restraint is not just a virtue, it is a survival skill. The historical lesson of Napoleon Bonaparte. One of the most striking examples of this principle is Napoleon Bonaparte, the French military genius who rose from obscurity to become the Emperor of France. Napoleon's strategy, ambition, and relentless pursuit of victory helped him build one of the largest European empires of the modern age. His tactical brilliance on the battlefield was unmatched, and he seemed unstoppable. However, his inability to stop at the right time became his greatest weakness. Napoleon had already conquered much of Europe, proving himself as an extraordinary leader. Instead of consolidating his power and ensuring the stability of his empire, he made the fateful decision to invade Russia in 1812. He underestimated the harsh Russian winter and the logistical challenges of a prolonged campaign. As a result, his army suffered catastrophic losses, marking the beginning of his decline. Had he exercised restraint and secured his position instead of chasing further glory, history might have remembered him differently. Overexpansion, an unchecked hunger for dominance can lead even the most powerful leaders to their downfall. The psychology of overreach, why we don't stop. From a psychological perspective, success activates the brain's dopamine reward system, reinforcing the behavior that led to victory. While this is beneficial in moderation, too much success can create a cycle of addiction, where one constantly chases the next win, often disregarding risk. This phenomenon is known as the winner's curse, a cognitive bias where individuals or organizations overextend themselves due to overconfidence in their ability to continue winning. Whether in financial investments, political campaigns, or corporate strategies, the same principle applies: excessive ambition clouds judgment. Leaders, entrepreneurs, and even everyday people fail when they do not understand when to stop. This is why self-awareness and restraint are crucial qualities for long-term success. The rise and fall of WeWork, a modern example. The corporate world is filled with stories of businesses that grew too fast, too recklessly, and ultimately collapsed under their own weight. One of the most famous examples is WeWork, a company that redefined co-working space, and was once valued at $47 billion. Under the leadership of Adam Neumann, WeWork expanded at a breakneck speed. Fueled by venture capital and Neumann's grand vision, the company aggressively opened locations worldwide without a sustainable financial model. Neumann's unchecked ambition led to extravagant spending, questionable business practices, and ultimately, a failed IPO that exposed WeWork's fragile foundation. Had Neumann exercised restraint and focused on strengthening the company's financials, WeWork might have remained a dominant force. Instead, his refusal to recognize the limits of expansion led to his ousting and the company's near collapse. This is a textbook example of how the intoxication of success can lead to reckless overreach. Lessons from the financial world. The 2008 economic crisis. The 2008 financial crisis provides another stark example of what happens when people fail to recognize their limits. The real estate market in the United States was booming, and banks, investment firms, and homeowners believed the trend would continue indefinitely. Lured by massive profits, financial institutions created risky mortgage-backed securities, while individuals took on more debt than they could afford. The warning signs were there: unsustainable growth, increasing default rates, and a reliance on high-risk financial instruments. But greed blinded people to the reality that markets are cyclical. When the housing bubble burst, it triggered a global economic meltdown. The lesson here? Knowing when to pull back and consolidate gains is essential in finance as much as it is in warfare and business. Applying Law 47 in everyday life. The principle of restraint is not just for emperors and CEOs, it applies to personal life, relationships, and career decisions as well. 1. Career growth. Know when to consolidate before expanding. Many professionals make the mistake of jumping from one job to another too quickly, constantly chasing the next big promotion without fully mastering their current role. While ambition is essential, true success comes from building a strong foundation before moving forward. 2. Financial decisions. Avoid the trap of greedy investments. Many investors fall into the trap of chasing high returns without assessing the risks. Whether in stock markets, cryptocurrency, or real estate, the key to long-term financial stability is knowing when to cash out and secure profits before chasing the next big opportunity. 3. Personal relationships. Recognizing healthy limits. In personal relationships, overextending oneself, whether emotionally or financially, can lead to strain and burnout. Knowing when to step back and reassess a relationship is crucial for maintaining long-term happiness. 4. Entrepreneurship. Build stability before rapid expansion. Many startups fail because they scale too quickly without a strong operational framework. Smart entrepreneurs know that before expanding, a business must have a solid financial base and sustainable growth strategy. Conclusion. Mastering the art of restraint. History, psychology, and real-world case studies all point to the same lesson. Knowing when to stop is the key to sustained success. Whether you are a leader, an investor, an entrepreneur, or an individual striving for personal growth, the ability to recognize when to pull back and consolidate is what separates long-term success from eventual failure. Ambition is a powerful force, but when left unchecked, it can lead to self-destruction. The greatest victories are not won by those who never stop, but by those who know precisely when to stop. The choice is yours. Will you master the power of restraint, or will you let ambition drive you past the point of no return?